We have to start off today's show, Josh, because there is no other maybe bigger topic in sports right now than the topic occurring at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. And the question posed on the bottom of the screen, did the Big Ten make the right decision in regards to Harbaugh? Now, I'm going to start off with this topic because I believe in it more strongly at this point, and I have more thoughts on it, I know, than you do. Um, Last week when we were discussing this, and you had brought up that Stephen A. Smith basically said that they're going to suspend Jim Harbaugh and they're going to punish Michigan, I said you can't do that because they're just allegations out there. We probably think that Michigan probably did do some sort of sign stealing, yes, but there is no indication out there that it is a definite yes. And on top of it, the sign stealing method in college football is not easy. In order for the alleged sign stealer to happen, basically what would happen would be the sign stealer would have to communicate the signals to the defensive coaches. The defensive coaches of Michigan would then have to relay that to the players, all to determine whether it is a run or a pass, not their specific play call. And all of that while the other team's offense is trying to get set up on the field. It's almost impossible to do. And so by that measure, and as I said last week, if Michigan was 4-4, I didn't think it'd be a huge story. Michigan, to me, is the best team in the country. I've been saying it all year. Again, I'm not a Michigan defender. I'm not a Michigan hater. I'm not anything in college football, but a fan of the big games. And in my humble opinion, what the Big Ten did on Friday of suspending Jim Harbaugh for 3 games. And basically, by the way, coming out and saying, yeah, we don't have evidence yet, but we think we have evidence, so we're going to suspend you as he's flying with the team to Penn State was egregious on the part of college football. This whole scandal, if you will, is showing us that the NCAA is broken. The NCAA needs one governing body. We cannot have conferences making decisions for one another. And as I tweeted out Friday night, and then I'll let you go, Josh, I said, if Michigan loses to Penn State, everybody's going to say, oh, Michigan can only win when they cheat. And if Michigan doesn't blow out Penn State, people are going to say, well, they didn't blow them out because they couldn't cheat. That was a tough game on the road in an environment where I told you last week here on Championship Rings, Michigan was going to win by about 10 points. They won by 9, and it's exactly how I thought it would look with them running the football down Penn State's throat. It doesn't change my opinion on Michigan for the year. I think that the Big Ten absolutely jumped the gun. And as, again, a fan of the sport, I think it's absolute bullshit.
So this whole story and situation is just so complicated. It's honestly been hard to follow. It feels like we're getting a new piece of information every day that just adds to the confusion of it. Whether it's the Jim Harbaugh suspension that you were just referring to, or, we get this piece of information and that piece of information. As with a lot of, scandals and stuff like this. Granted, every situation and stuff is different. You can't compare, this Michigan sign stealing scandal to the Houston Astros sign stealing scandal in 2017. Two different situations. But did you hear what Jim Harbaugh said in his press conference? He called Michigan America's team. Did you hear about this?
Which is a flat-out troll by Jim Harbaugh. He is trolling the media. He wants people like you and me to get worked up about it. I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. And, as I said today on Brandon's World as well, if you're in trouble with the law, right, oftentimes you don't want to go to court just to go to court because you're almost just delaying the inevitable. Michigan is saying we did nothing wrong here, and there are various coaches that are no longer with Michigan coming out and defending Harbaugh and defending the program. And as I said before, and I'll state it again, did Michigan do some sort of sign stealing? Probably, should they be punished eventually with a fine or maybe a couple game suspension against a cupcake? Maybe, sure, you can do that next year if Harbaugh does decide to stay. But I always feel like the Big Ten is so mad at Jim Harbaugh and Michigan for some reason. They're so good that the Big Ten is almost using this as a way to get Harbaugh back to the NFL. That's what it feels like to me.
I hear you on that one. Do you realize that Michigan is what, 10-0 now this season after that win?
Yep. And they are set for a big date this Saturday at Maryland, which they will win. It's going to be a lot trickier game, though, than people think. Just like Ohio State, when they went to Maryland last year and it came down to the wire before their game against Michigan. I'm not saying it's an upset alert, but with everything going on, you're going to ask Michigan to go on the road again with the whole distraction right before their biggest game of the year. It's setting up for a potential loss, Josh. It really is.
That would be interesting. But think about this. You've got, Harbaugh could be back on the sidelines if he wins his court case and gets the TRO, temporary restraint order.
And by the way, he should have been on the sideline Saturday. They obviously were not going to hear the decision by then, but it was absolute BS. They banned him from coaching while he's on the plane. Think about this, people. You're on the plane getting rid of the coach of your football team, and all of a sudden you're told, oh, yeah, once you get there, you have to go to the hotel. You're suspended.
Yes, but anyway, getting back to my original point, this is not the first time Harbaugh has been suspended this season. Because at the beginning of the season, when Michigan was playing 3 cupcake games, as you like to say, he had a self-imposed 3-game suspension because of recruiting stuff.
Yeah, and guess what that was? Can you guys believe this? You want to know what they caught Michigan doing in 2020 when the world was shut down? They got mad at Jim Harbaugh because he fed a potential recruit a cheeseburger. I'm not joking. Look it up.
Hey, I'm not saying it was the right or wrong thing to do. All I'm simply saying is, like, this is not the first time Harbaugh has been suspended.
Like I just said, I think college football, maybe it's the Big Ten, maybe it's the whole NCAA, they have a vendetta for some reason against Harbaugh. I don't know if they're mad because Michigan all of a sudden got good. I don't know if they're mad because he finally has a first-round quarterback and he's winning. I don't know if they're jealous. I don't know if it's Ohio State pushing this agenda because they're afraid they're going to lose to him again. I don't know what it is.
Honestly, going back to this whole Jim Harbaugh's America's team comment, Michigan's not America's team. They're probably going to become the villains almost. Jim Harbaugh, he can try and play the victim card all he wants.
He is a victim.
Let me say it like this. I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to agree and I'm not going to disagree because, like I said, it's been hard for me personally to follow because it just feels like there's information coming out every day and stuff. But it feels like, in general, Harbaugh can't play the victim in this situation. Instead, he's being portrayed or being presented as the villain, like Darth Vader almost.